You are exhausted. Your body is done. Your eyes are heavy. Every muscle is telling you the same thing, sleep. And yet, your brain just woke up. You know the feeling. You lie down. It's dark, the phone is on the nightstand, and for a few seconds, everything seems fine. Then it starts. A thought about tomorrow. A conversation you had 3 days ago. Forgot to do. Something you said wrong. Something you should have said. Just like that, your mind is moving faster than it did at 2 in the afternoon. Shift positions. You check the time. You calculate how many hours of sleep you can still get if you fall asleep right now, which makes it worse. You try to force your brain to stop. It doesn't. Your coffee. You tell yourself you're just stressed. You blame your coffee. You blame your phone. You blame yourself. But here is what no one tells you. None of those things are the real problem. About this for a second. Your body is physically tired. That part is not debatable. You can feel it. So why is your brain doing the opposite? You try to rest. Become the moment your mind decides to run a full psychological audit of your entire life. And why does this almost never happen at 2 in the afternoon? Forgot to do when you actually have time to deal with it. Why does it always happen at night? That question is more important than you think. Because the answer reveals something about your brain people never find out. Here is what is actually happening inside your brain when you try to sleep. Your brain runs on a 24-hour internal clock called the circadian rhythm. It regulates when you feel awake, when you feel tired, and when your body starts preparing for sleep. It goes down, your brain begins releasing a hormone called melatonin. Melatonin is basically your brain telling your body it's time to shut down your cortisol levels. At the same time, your cortisol levels, hormone connected to alertness and stress, are supposed to drop. Lower cortisol means lower activation. That is what allows sleep to happen. But here is where it gets complicated. Your brain also has a system called the reticular activating system. Think of it as your brain's alarm network. Its entire job is to monitor for threats and decide, is it safe to go offline? This system does not know the difference between a lion and a deadline. It does not know the difference between physical danger and an unread email. All it knows is whether your nervous system is signaling something unresolved, and if it is, it keeps you awake. Now add dopamine to the picture. Dopamine is not just a pleasure chemical. It's a signal for anticipation, for what happens next. Every time you scroll your phone, every time you finish a show, every time you do anything stimulating before bed, your dopamine spikes. Tells the reticular activating system something important might be happening. Stay alert. But your alarm system is still running from the last 30 minutes of your evening. That is the biochemical setup. But that is only half the story. Here is where it goes deeper. The brain does not process the day while you are living it. It processes the day at night. Think about that. Conversation you had, every decision you made, every emotion that passed through you without getting fully resolved. Your brain holds all of that. And when the external world goes quiet and the stimulation drops, that is when your brain starts to sort through it. Psychologists call this emotional processing. Your brain is not torturing you when it replays an argument from this morning. It is trying to extract meaning from it. It is trying to file it, categorize it, decide what it means about you and the world around you. The problem is that emotional processing requires mental energy, and it creates mental activation. The opposite of what sleep needs. There is also something called threat simulation. Your brain, specifically the part called the amygdala, has one job that overrides every other function: to keep you alive. And the way it does that is by running through potential threats before they happen. That is why you do not just replay what happened today. Start imagining what could go wrong tomorrow. Your presentation, Your relationship, your finances, your health, your brain is not being irrational. It is being evolutionary. The exact same thing a prehistoric human brain would do before a hunt. Scanning for danger, preparing for the worst, trying to give you an edge. The problem is that we no longer live in caves. The threats are not physical anymore. They are psychological. They are abstract. You cannot fight or outrun a bad performance review. Your brain does not know that. It just keeps running the simulation, and the more you try to force yourself to stop thinking, the worse it gets. Suppression of thought is its own form of mental effort. You are telling your brain, do not think about that thing, and to not think about something, your brain first has to think about it. It's a trap, and almost everyone is stuck in it. So you know about circadian rhythm, you know about cortisol and melatonin. You've probably heard about blue light and phone screens and cutting off caffeine by 2 p.m. Maybe you have tried all of that. Maybe it helped a little. Maybe it did not help at all. What all of that advice misses, it treats sleep like a mechanical problem. Like if you just adjust the right variables, but sleep will turn off. Sleep is not mechanical, neurological. And there is something happening in your brain that no sleep hygiene checklist has ever addressed. Something that changes everything. Your brain does not have a sleeping problem. Your brain has a priority problem. Here is the truth. Your brain knows exactly how to sleep. It has been doing it since you were born. Not broken. What is happening is that your brain has made a decision, a subconscious, survival-level decision. And that decision is this. Staying awake right now is more important than sleeping. Not because you told it to, not because you want it to, but because something in your environment, your stress load, your unresolved thoughts, your cortisol signals, has convinced your brain that it is not safe to go offline yet. Sleep, from your brain's perspective, is vulnerability. When you sleep, you are unaware. You cannot respond to threats. You cannot solve problems. You cannot protect yourself. So your brain will not allow full sleep until it believes the coast is clear. Chronic stress. If your days feel unresolved, if your nervous system is constantly receiving signals that something is wrong, your brain will keep choosing wakefulness every night. Malfunctioning because it is working exactly as designed. Think about the student the night before a major exam. The content of the exam is not in that room. The exam itself is not happening yet, but the brain is firing as if the danger is immediate. Heart rate up, thought cycling, every possible outcome playing out in sequence. A professional who lies awake at midnight, composing emails in their head that they will never send, rehearsing conversations, rewriting decisions they already made 8 hours ago. Or the person who has been scrolling through social media for 2 hours before bed, watching other people's lives, absorbing comparison and noise, then wondering why they feel restless when they finally put the phone down. In all three cases, the brain received signals that something is unresolved, something is at stake. It requires attention, and attention is the enemy of sleep. We live in a world that demands constant output, constant availability, constant performance, and then we expect our brains to switch off in 30 seconds when we decide it is bedtime. But you do not close the lid, and it is a living sleep. It is a living system that responds to everything you have put it through in the last 16 hours. The ancient brain and the modern world are fundamentally mismatched. Your brain evolved in a world where nighttime was genuinely dangerous, where sleeping too deeply could get you killed. So it built in a safety check. Fully surrender to sleep unless you feel safe. The problem is that modern danger never fully goes away. The emails do not stop. The notifications do not stop. The mental load does not stop. So your brain never fully receives the signal. You are safe. It is okay to let go. That signal does not come from a pill. It does not come from a white noise machine. It has to come from inside. Tonight, before you lie down, I want you to pay attention to something. Notice what your brain starts doing the moment the lights go off. Notice what it reaches for, what it replays, what it worries about. And instead of fighting it, ask one question. What is my brain trying to protect me from right now? Because when you understand what your brain is actually doing, it shifts. You stop fighting yourself. And sometimes that is the only thing that needed to happen all along. You may realize your sleep problem was never about sleep, about what your brain was never allowed to finish.